Peace, family. We're going to get into it today. Before that, if you have not felt embodied today, if you have not just let yourself exist today, aside from all the titles that you have, employee, mother, father, son, daughter, if you haven't allowed yourself to detach from those ideas today, utilize this as an opportunity to do so. You follow? So what I want for you to do is to relax. We'll get into some breathing, and then we're going to get into today's discussion. And that discussion will be about living your life as a mystic. I've lived a life of mysticism for quite some time. Why it's not working? Yes, I've lived a life of mysticism for quite some time. Um, for those of you who are new here, when I put this video on the channel, for those of you who are unfamiliar with who I am, my name is Tigo. I'm a student of spirituality. I've studied with other mystics. Studied with Dr. Mitchell Gibson, who you can look up. He is a world-renowned spiritual teacher who developed a particular spiritual path and is a student of Kabbalah. I also studied with Jiang Feng in a school of lay Buddhists in China in the practice of I Ching Jing, an internal martial art that allows for you to use mental focus to change the nature of your body and to help break the cycle of reincarnation. A practice that allows you to find liberation, true liberation. I've been a practitioner of meditation for 15 years. I've been teaching it for about the same amount of time, about 13 years, something like that. So I've been able to have many experiences within the spiritual plane. And I know in these times where the consciousness is raising and still living within the matrix, you want to understand how to navigate that space. So my service here is to make spirituality more practical, as well as providing spiritual insights that many may not understand fully. So right now, before we get into all of that, I want you to sit back or lay back and completely relax. I need for you mentally to not think of anything else that you may need to do later today, tomorrow, anything. I need you to give you the space to just exist. Don't worry, your bills and everything will be there when you get back. So just exist. And you're going to do that by taking deep inhales and deep exhales, but not just regular deep inhales of like, nah, that's not the way. The inhale has to be sensual. You see, to be present in the moment and exist in the moment truthfully, all your senses must be involved. So, what I want for you to do, as I said, is be still, inhale like, and exhale like. You see, when you inhale and exhale sensually, it activates the spiritual or feeling components of your being. Just like on a really hot summer day when you drink cold water, what do? You hit that. And because you hit that, that's how you know it's truly felt. The water was truly soothing. It truly quenched your thirst. So when you breathing in this moment, breathe acting like you know what the breath actually is, which is spirit itself. We cannot go 5 minutes without breathing, but you can go 5 minutes without eating, talking, and doing all the other things. So with that said, breath is what connects us. It's the first thing we do when we come into this world, and it's the last thing we do before we leave. So for those of you who are like, where's God's love? That's one aspect of it, just the breath, the sustainer. And if you use the breath consciously, you can change your state of being. So again, you lay back and just continue inhaling and exhaling in that manner, feeling yourself as just a being that exists and has been existing for eons. You're more than just your title in this life. You are an aspect of the divinity. And as you inhale, feel yourself inhaling into the temple of the divine, which is what you call your body. And through your intention of just inhaling sensually and exhaling sensually, you will feel your body state starting to shift. You will feel your vibration starting to raise. And the process of doing that is just letting go. When you exhale, let go of any tension that's felt in the body. When you exhale, like, allow yourself to release the hardness that's in your heart. Completely relax. You are part of the divinity. The way that God loves us is through what we call free will. Free will is to say, my creation, my children of the creation, go forth and play and do anything that you can imagine. And we can do anything that we can imagine. Whether you call it wicked or positive, it is allowed in the creation because we can never truly harm ourselves in the creation because we are infinite beings. And because we are infinite, anything we do is just a role that we're playing to learn more about the divinity. Continue inhaling and exhaling. So with that being said, everything in the creation is loved unconditionally by the Creator. So you too are loved unconditionally by the Creator. Feel that love by breathing deeply. Feel that love, how you can call on the sustainer of life at all moments. And after we do this for a moment and relate to our true selves, which is the spirit, not us who we call mother, father, son, daughter, etc. Those are roles. Allow the self for you to embody the self in this moment and detach from the matrix for just a moment. Continue on. Breathe deeply, beloved soul. Mm. If that served you and you felt that, when you rise up again and open your eyes, drop some praying hands in the chat. This is how quickly we can change our state of being, because we're always in control. It's just that the choices we make usually do not serve our higher self. So today we'll talk about ways to serve the highest self. Things that you can apply in your life today that will change your vibrational state. And by the law of harmony, you will then attract the vibration that you are, which you are always doing anyway. So these tools will help you let go of the things that are blocking you to attract your core frequency. Mm. So we're going to call today, everybody's doing the best that they can. And to be a mystic is to be able to see both worlds. Is to be able to see what's happening in the spiritual plane and understand that the physical world is just a manifestation of the spiritual plane. Again, the physical world is just a manifestation of the spiritual plane. I always like to keep it simple. If you want to create something, you must create it in your imagination before it's created here. Therefore, it always comes from the unseen into the seen. To create a laptop or a cell phone, you must see it in your mind first. And nobody else is going to be able to see that. But the vision that you've been given is real because your imagination takes place in the astral plane, or what we would refer to as another dimension, in the lower realms of heaven. So the imagination truly is the greatest tool. Y'all following? So it's about remembering that what we see in our mind's eye manifests here. So the spiritual plane has dominion over the physical. So everything that's happening there just trickles down to here. So it's about being able to see both sides and work with that. To understand that the things from heaven manifest through the living natural things of this reality. And the human being is one portal and one of the main portals for the manifestation of heaven as we see it. Heaven is not just, boom, we cross over a dimension and now we're in heaven. No, the beings start to vibrate in harmony with the idea of heaven and then manifest it on earth. That's it. So mysticism is about walking in this world, recognizing its perfection, but seeing how many of the beings in the world live in ignorance and are unaware of the perfection of the creation, and as a result are unaware of their own perfection. So it's to walk in the world as a lighthouse, not to retreat to a monastery as an example and just exist there. No disrespect to the monasteries, because they do great work channeling light and being beacons for the whole planet. But this is the pathway of living amongst man and being a representation of the higher vibration. Because by your bright light, like imagining a candle flame, it doesn't matter how many new candles come in connection with that flame, their torch will be lit and that light will shine just as brightly still. So by being this bright light, you're allowing other people to realize the possibilities of what they can be in this world. And they resonate with that bright light because in our core, all we are is that bright light, or what we would call love. The light from our sun body is the physical manifestation of that love, the same warmth that we feel in the chest, the same passion that we feel in the chest. When we call love, it's just the inner sun rising. So to be the mystic is just to show up in the world as the love of the divinity. So today, we're going to talk about the understanding of that. Number one being everybody's doing the best they can from where they are currently. You see, the free will that we've been given by the Creator allows for us to play. And only when called upon will any beings intervene. Spirit guides intervene when called upon, because no being that walks the light wants to intervene with the free will of any being. That's the nature of the creation. So when called upon, if you're feeling like you're in a moment where you can't figure things out, you ask for help from your spirit guides, and then they will communicate with you in ways that only you can understand. As an example, a commercial pops up on TV answering the question. You're like, man, what a coincidence. But remember, everything happens in spirit first. So everything is spiritual. You may sometimes think that this is spiritual and this isn't. No, everything is spiritual. It's all just a manifestation. So the coincidences are literally just the communication of the higher self speaking through the creation. So why do I say all that? I want you to understand that the whole thing is literally connected. And the whole creation is unconditionally loved by the Creator. So the people that you may feel like are not doing the best they can, you only feel like that because you do not see them with your whole being. You only see them through the lens that you're looking through. So just take yourself as an example. You probably feel quite misunderstood. But you're only misunderstood because a person does not live in your body. So they don't know what you feel. Because just imagine when you're going through the toughest breakup of your life. And in that moment, your chest hurts, your nervous system is feeling crazy. You just feel all out of whack. A lot of pain you're experiencing within your nervous system. Then let's say you got to go to work. And when you go to work, people are asking you why you aren't happy, why you aren't speaking, etc. You don't want to talk about it, asking you, why aren't you doing your job better? When in truth, showing up and doing what you're doing is the best that you can do right now. And somebody might, in their logical mind, be like, well, you need to push that out your mind. You shouldn't be feeling those feelings. But see, you can't avoid what you feel. And what you feel, even when you suppress it, it creates a new personality. You understand? So a person, whoever it is, even if it's the thief, he believes he's doing the best that he can from where he is. He believes in his own mind that this is the shortest distance between him and some money. That's what everybody's trying to figure out. What is the shortest distance between where I am to what I desire? And that's just his pathway based off of his current level of awareness. If he had your awareness, he would move as you, but he does not, or she does not. They are limited by where their nervous system currently is. Even if they know the knowledge of, oh, well, I could do this, or I could be a lawyer, or I could be a doctor, energetically, it's not in resonance where they are. So they believe that where they are going and the direction that they are taking is the best path forward for their own nervous system's comfort, etc. That's what it means everybody's doing the best they can. It doesn't mean that they're functioning in their highest self, but to where they are in their own evolution, they are right where they are supposed to be doing exactly what they are supposed to be doing, because that's why they're doing it. They are in resonance with it. If they were not in resonance with it, they would not be doing it. So when you notice that, when you see that, when you become a person that can see that about every soul, you must see that about yourself. You may feel like you lack discipline. That's something that you would say, but it's not true. You're disciplined in all the things you want to be disciplined in. As an example, feeding your kids every day. It's just that important to you that you choose to feed them every day. But you don't have to, but you have discipline in that. You have discipline in putting one foot in front of the other when you walk down the street. You do it in a very disciplined manner. You do it all the time. You never fail. It's all about alignment. So the mystic can see that everybody in the world is functioning the best that they can from where they currently are. You then recognize for yourself that you've always been moving based off of how you felt, your nervous system, your ideas. All of this comes together to create what you call the personality. And you always know that if people could look inside your mind or be inside your body, that they would understand. But you want to know how they could try and understand you is to open their heart. Because you see the heart center being here, sitting in the middle of the body. If you look at the chakra system, it has the 7 chakras. You have the root chakra at the perineum, the sacral chakra at the genitalia. Then you have the 3rd chakra right here below the rib cage, below the diaphragm. Then you have the heart, that's the 4th. Then it connects to the throat, then it connects to the 3rd eye, then it connects to the crown. So the heart is the middle passageway that connects the lower self with the higher self. So if you think about it as masculine, feminine, if you only see things through logic, you won't have any feeling. And without feeling, you will be willing to do things that may impact others and harm others, but you won't even be able to feel that or have empathy or sympathy because you need feeling in order to do that. So you could become a scientist that does lab experiments on rats and not care. That's what logic in its extreme will lead to. In the same manner, if you're just emotional, then you would just be feeling your way through everything and not utilize logic to have understanding of why A went from B to C. You need both. So what does that mean? How do we have both? It's through the heart. The heart now allows for the feeling and the seeing to merge, because you're seeing the person's actions, but the heart allows you to feel and empathize to see how did they get there, understanding that everybody gets there somewhere, somehow. Everybody does. No being is born wicked. They are born in innocence like any other being. So the life path created a pathway that made them hurt so much that they wanted to hurt others. But if you don't open your heart to seeing that, then you can't know that. Therefore, you judge them. And in judging them, you now create a hierarchy. And then that hierarchy says this is better and this is worse. So then you also judge yourself, putting yourself against this system of better and worse. And then now you no longer function as the creator, which loves all unconditionally, equally. So the mystic understands all is well. It's written in all the holy texts, all is well. The mystic understands to judge not, because to judge you, I must do it from here. If I'm going to judge you, I have to do it. Where does I dwell? Within. So I have to create judgment in myself just to judge you. And then in that instant, I fall from heaven. Because heaven judges not. You see what I'm saying? Judge not. So it's to understand that this world that has been created is just a creation of the state of consciousness that we have been in. It's not fixed. So for people who are like, what's going to happen? I'm so scared, this, that, and the third. No, the world is always in change. And based upon the collective consciousness' thinking, it develops the world that is in alignment with the majority. And most of us have been at war. Most of us have been in resistance, but resist not temptation. There's no need to resist anything. You accept and understand, and then you become the light in the world that shows the way to be. But all paths are valid, because again, you can't have up without down, left without right. So you can't have joy without sadness. So sadness is okay to be experienced by a soul when the soul chooses sadness, because we control our whole lives. Do you understand? Are my teachings or beliefs Bible based? No, everything is, I'm an omniist, as they call it, if I had to give it a term. And that just means I find the common thread of the spiritual truths of the cosmos that run through everything. It's a state of being. But because most of my followers are from the Western world and most people are familiar with Christian concepts, I'll utilize some Christian concepts to connect dots. But I also use Buddhist concepts as well, Hindu concepts as well. It's all one thing. They're just names that we give things, but they all one thing. It's a natural state of being to be this way. Our natural state of being is to be an angel. Exactly. If we could all understand this better, we change the world. But see, we are changing the world by just becoming the being. Beingness is all that's needed. It's like having a present mother or father in the home. The presence makes a hell of a difference, just the existence. So just existing as a being with these thoughts, existing as a being operating as you would in a heavenly planet, on a earth that has been changed for the positive. Already be it. You already are it. You just already have to channel it. Become it. Because many people don't know what it looks like to be it. So they think that some shift has to occur where the world just changes overnight or somebody else has to do it. No, you have to do it. I have to do it. That's just what it is. And it's a beautiful thing because it tells us again, we've been creating this the whole time. The wars that we see on TV are still the same many wars we have in our homes, many wars we have in our hoods, many wars that we have with people at work. It's the inability to see from the other perspective and to wear the other shoes, to validate, to say, I understand how you got to that place. I understand why you exist, is what you're really saying. And when you reject that in others, the same way you feel passionately about whatever it is you believe, somebody feels passionately about the exact opposite. And you both have reasons as to why you believe that to be the case. So the mystic understands all is well. That we only come here to experience archetypes. We only come here to experience archetypes. What does that mean? Well, you could call it characters. You've met somebody that's in a different city, in a different place, that acts just like somebody in the city that you're from. Because they embody a similar archetype. There are only certain archetypes that we can embody on this planet, and we get to learn through those archetypes. They teach us. So as you evolve, the archetype that you hold even changes, which you would call the personality. So to expand, you actually have to let go of some of the current beliefs that you have in order to gain wider perspectives, which then changes the personality, which allows for more of the divine archetype to anchor. Because the divine archetype sees all and understands that all is well. So its heart is open to the entire creation, so it doesn't see hierarchy. You dig? So I'm probably going to start doing some new things as well. Some readings of different channelings. I've done the Law of One, and I did that because there wasn't many out there. But one of the people that inspired me to do that is Brian Scott, LL Research. Putting out some amazing channelings like Quote. And I realized there's so many people out there that have just never heard these things, have never heard the communication of higher dimensional beings. There's just some people who have never heard it. The thoughts of higher dimensional beings. That the fact that in any spiritual text, they've always told us that we've been able to communicate with the heavens, beings, angels, etc., messengers from the divine. That never stopped though. It's been ongoing. It's just that we live in a world where that's not promoted or sought after, and many people don't know the difference between what is and what isn't. But that's stuff that I listen to almost every day. So I'm going to start reading some of those channelings on my channel. I'll still ask the questions of AI because, it really just helps introduce people to different concepts. But more so for how to live your life as a mystic and things that can be applicable on the daily, I'm going to read some of those quote channelings, and at the end of those channelings, really give a breakdown of what it means for us and how we can move forward in creating a more harmonious world. It's such a beautiful thing. But for today's lesson again, I just wanted to really hop on the fact of understanding each other is the only way forward. It's about forgiving the transgressions that we've made against each other, like the masculine and the feminine. In many ways, we hate each other. A woman walks down the street, and if she's in fear, it's not that she's fearing a woman attacking her, she's fearing a man. And men don't usually let other men get to them emotionally, but are very afraid of a woman coming and being inside of him letting her in, him opening his heart to her, and then her betraying him or not seeing him as enough, etc. And after having those experiences, we start to resent the whole energy, the whole gender. But to stop the wars that exist in the Middle East, it all really starts just by stopping the war within. Stopping that war of men need to be this or women need to be that. Family, remember, we are souls first, and it is not one gender. We are souls first. We come and have an experience as a human. It's like associating yourself with the car you drive. No, you experience the car you drive. It has certain characteristics, a different characteristics than another car. A Toyota drives different than a Bentley, but it doesn't make one better than the other. It's just another experience. A Toyota, somebody can make millions of it in a Toyota just driving to work, and somebody can be going broke owning a Bentley, but they just have different characteristics. You did. Somebody said, so you're saying forgive and forget, or forgive and remember to avoid falling back into the same cycle? You never have to forget. But when there's true forgiveness, it just becomes a lesson that's loved. See, it's really to understand that everything that's happening is happening to teach you something. And if you understand that through pain, you find joy, quite literally, through looking back on your life, you'll find things that were painful, but today say, I don't regret it because of it, I'm now have this level of awareness. So they're only gifts. It's like scraping your knee when you were a child, falling off a bike. You don't remember many of those times. You may remember the first time, but you hold no resentment towards it because after crying in that moment and your parent or whomever explaining to you, or you realizing that, oh, sometimes when you ride your bike, you'll scrape your knee. And then you realize that it's not so bad. It just kind of comes with the territory of the environment. And then you don't even remember where you got the scar from on your knee like that. Because the message and lesson is so integrated, there's no resentment held against the road itself for scraping your knee. There's no trauma there. But it's because of the integration of the experience. So everything is just a lesson. The most egregious things that you can imagine are just lessons because we are infinite beings. We do not remain here forever. It is just an experience going over eons. So you'll have many other experiences. The only question you need to ask is, why did you attract this experience? So you can understand yourself better. So it's just to forgive, not even for the sake of the other, but to invite the grace of the divinity within the self. That grace looks like this as well. This too shall pass. Everybody's doing the best they can from where they're at. If they had my perspective, they would act as me. If they had Christ's perspective, they would act as Christ. If they had Buddha's perspective, they would act as Buddha. But they have a very unique perspective that exists. Why does it exist? Because the creation deems it so. So if it exists, that means it has purpose. What is the purpose of its existence? Well, find the lesson that it teaches you. You called it. So somebody said, why do we forget choosing to come here as a black woman or whatever we are in the experience as? Well, the forgetting is the gift. In this dimension, we have what's known as the veil. And the veil of forgetting makes us have to choose from the core of our being. What choice? Well, the whole point of incarnating is to go through a cycle of learning the choices of love. either learning or choosing to incarnate and evolve through serving others or through serving yourself. So, by forgetting why you chose to come here, all of what you chose is embedded into your emotional body. As an example, a person may be very fearful of water, but have no idea why they're fearful of water. A 4-year old, the first time they're exposed to water, they're scared to death, only later to discover that they drowned in a past life. But it was already in the emotional body. Telling it what it feared is what it must overcome. So we have the veil so that we can make the decision based off of the bravery, which is the choice of loving the self. Saying, although this is scary, I must get over this fear. Has anyone ever experienced the powerful white light emanate from your eyes? From their own eyes or somebody specific? But yeah, y'all, we forget because if we knew and had all of the insight, there's no motivation for expansion. And when we come here and forget, it makes us want to return back to that infinite love. So coming down here deep into density, it forces us have to dig deep to sense the creator again. But it's always present. And the digging deep is actually just the letting go of the ideas, because when we're children, the creator is very present in our imagination and everything else. We feel elated. We can be sitting next to a box and turn that box into a fire department. We could turn it into a bakery. We could turn that box into an airplane. It's not even shaped like one. But that's how much stronger the connection is, even as an infant, as a child, as a toddler, etc. So it's the way of moving through the density or darkness and still being able to find the light. That allows for us to accelerate and evolve much faster. So souls choose to come here for this type of experience, which usually takes about 72,000 years. It's a powerful thing. But again, what I want you guys to take today is just to remember that everybody's just doing the best they can from where they are. So their actions could never truly be personal. Even if they want to act against you, they're acting against the way that they see you. They don't know you as the real you, because only you know the real you. So that means they're really even acting against themselves, because somebody that knows themselves, they know that they want grace. So they offer grace. Somebody that knows themselves knows that they will make mistakes again. So they're graceful when others make mistakes. Somebody that knows themselves knows that they'll be misunderstood. So they have grace for the misunderstandings. So if you want to develop heaven on earth, this is the first step. Offer yourself this grace. Go today in meditation and offer yourself this grace. I have a heart opening meditation on my channel. It's about an hour long. It is beautiful. I say that humbly, but even when I listen to it, I cry back because I was channeling when I made it. So it's like the higher part of myself created it. but I feel it so deeply, and it truly is a heart-opening experience. And through doing a meditation like that, or if you already have heart-opening experiences or meditation practices that you can utilize, offer the self-grace. Remove the hierarchy in yourself that you can only be this way or not that way. Make room for all of yourself. Don't be afraid of any of your thoughts. They exist in God's creation, therefore, they are a part of the divinity. They're just teachers. Don't run from the teachers. Seek to understand. I heard a quote the other day, and I'm paraphrasing, and it said, if we fought as hard to prove our points, to try and understand each other, that the world would be a better place. And it's so true, because we'll fight hard to prove a point in an argument, but we don't fight hard to want to understand each other. So first, fight hard to understand yourself and allow yourself to just be what you are. Forget what anybody else thinks about you. Forget it. What matters is how you see you, and get to that space where you allow yourself to just be whatever it is that you are. If some people think that's corny, that's okay. The thing is, they're not in harmony fully with themselves. So there's going to be many people that's not in harmony with your authenticity. But as they say, they hated Christ. So it doesn't matter how you show up. Everybody won't align because they have to be aligned from within. So you accept you. And then the people that also accept themselves will accept you. And then you also inspire other people to accept themselves. And then this world and this life gets a lot easier in the matrix, because you won't take things personally. Because how can anybody do something personally to you when they can never truly know you without truly knowing themselves? They only can do something to the idea of you. And when you can hold that space in your heart to know that this too shall pass, whether it's when they leave this incarnation, they'll be able to see everything clearly and understand the totality of you and feel all the things that you experience with them. And then they'll remember the past lives that you had together, et cetera, et cetera. And then all of the stuff that you felt is gone. Just like when you scraped your knee riding a bike. You felt it for a moment, then it's gone. The lesson is only that what remains. Then you still loving the bike. And now you love the road that once scraped your knee. Now you love the road. You can't wait to get on the bike and ride up the hill and down the hill and love the wind and love the road that scraped your knee. The open heart can forgive anything, because the Creator has forgiven everything, but it never judges us. It just loves everything. Forgiveness is just our return to our divine state. Understanding that this too shall pass. So yeah. One second. It's starting to get a little dark. But if you have any questions, you can go ahead and shoot them off in the chat, and we'll get into it. But next time, my next Living Life as a Mystic 101, we'll focus on the next steps. Something else that you can do in your daily life right now. Right now. So that you can expand yourself. and be able to walk in the matrix with God in your heart, feel the divinity, and not feel like you have to retreat from this reality. No, heaven is a state of mind. Happiness is a byproduct of being grateful. Again, heaven is a state of mind, is a state of being. It's just the state in which you experience when your heart is open. And happiness is just a byproduct. Again, happiness is just a byproduct of being grateful. Because family, if you're grateful, you can see it how it is. Again, you think you're not supported. You say, why don't they support me? But you forget the ground beneath your feet has supported you so much in your life that you take it for granted. You don't even think about how supportive the ground has been for you. Not realizing that that is a manifestation of the Creator, a certain level of stability that's so ingrained in you, you don't know what it is not to have it. Just like your legs. If you lost them today, you'd pay billions to get them back. And if you got them back, you'd be so happy. And guess what? You have legs right now. So why would it have to take that for you to feel the same joy? So it's just a state of being. It's just the heart space. You did. So again, if there are any questions, you can drop it on. Whatsoever, and we'll get into it. I'll give it a few minutes. And yeah, outside of that, then we'll connect later on. Just to show some love to y'all or share some information with you guys. Well, hold on. What's going on with my comments? Okay, I see some questions, but I'm gonna share some information with you guys real quick. I have been invited as a keynote speaker at the Conscious Life Expo in LA next February. So mark that on your calendars. I don't remember the actual date, but just remember in February in LA, I'll be a keynote speaker at the Conscious Life Expo. And I'm stating that to say that's really big for me. As many years as I've been a student of spirituality, I've only really been actively sharing and teaching for the past 5 months. And things are accelerating extremely quickly. And the reason for that is I'm just embodying what I am fully. And by doing that, things have been expanding beyond my wildest dreams. And I'm grateful. And everybody that's here is a part of that. And I'm thankful. So I appreciate you guys even appreciating my perspective on things. All I live to do is really serve and help people understand themselves better and find their ways to love. Now, let me look at the questions. What are my thoughts on OBE's out of body experiences? Well, I've done AI on it, and I'll do some more. But my thoughts in general on the outer body experience is just our consciousness moving from one state to another. When we dream at night, a portion of our consciousness goes into the astral plane, and we actually are having an out of body experience. We don't realize it. This is why for some of us, when we're coming back to waking up, we have sleep paralysis where we can't move the physical body. And that's because that portion of our consciousness that was out of body is coming back in, and we've woken up or become aware sooner than we could merge back with our physical body. And that's why we can't move, and we're in that paralysis state. So an out of body experience is a very natural state of being. When we're not in this fallen state of consciousness behind the veil, we just move between dimensions with ease, because the original human being was a multidimensional being. This is why you have so many people here that have ADHD, because you're able to move into other states of consciousness very easy and disassociate from this particular plane. But then the human without any limitations was able to move into all the planes without it interfering with the current plane that they're in. Just be able to switch back and forth. So the out of body experience is just an aspect of what we actually are, which is soul. The soul just dwells in the body, but it's not, its origin is not the body. So moving out of the body is much like I said earlier, like moving out of a car. Don't associate yourself with the car, you just have an experience in the car. So the physical body, although it's a representation of our souls, it's just an experience and a vehicle that we use to move around this physical world. But the I that we are is not the physical body. So an out of body experience is just an experience of experiencing yourself away from your physical vessel, which happens every night. Somebody asked, what AI do I use when I ask questions? First, I did a whole video on that. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna encourage you guys to go check it out. It says, I think the title is "How I Use AI for Ascension." Um, but I will answer the question: is Chat GPT? But if you want to like understand more, just go watch that video. Let me see. Oh, I see the congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't even look. I appreciate that. Thank y'all. Please, speaker, tell us spiritual experiences since a child. Um, Spiritual experiences since a child. I've had different ones. Um, I mean, just want to hear one, maybe. Um, what's the spiritual experience that I think one that stands out for me was a prophetic dream that I had of my father passing out on the floor, and I didn't know why. Um, I had no idea why he passed out on the floor, but in the dream, I was like a bystander. So it wasn't like a regular dream. It was as if I was hovering and looking at an event. So when I woke up, I called my mother and I'm like, yo, is Pops all right? Like, I had this dream. And she's like, oh, yeah, he's fine. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm like, I'm not sure what that was. Then 2 weeks later, it happens. He collapses and almost like seizes. And then that started happening after that for several years. But this had never happened before. And I started having those prophetic experiences after just practicing dream yoga and meditating frequently. But that's one spiritual experience that stands out for me. In childhood, if I'm being honest, I didn't have like many mystical experiences. The only thing that I would call mystical in childhood, but I think other people experience it, was sometimes I'll be able to close my eyes and still see things. And I used to have a lot of lucid dreams as a child. So I thought that other people had lucid dreams too, which is where you realize you're dreaming and you can control the dream. So you're like aware that your body's asleep, but you're in the dream plane controlling it, and the whole world looks like more HD and all that stuff. So that would happen to me as a child, but I didn't think anything of it because it was just happening. So I just assumed that that happened to other people. But I find now that there's many people who don't even experience sleep paralysis, and many people who um, have not had lucid dreams. So yeah, but that's an experience that I've had. Any more questions, y'all? Well, I appreciate you guys coming, tapping in. Um, I'm gonna go eat something. Many of you know I'm plant based. I'm gonna eat some plant based sushi with this peanut butter sauce. It's really good. It's fire. Yeah, and I'm gonna go ahead and research which quo reading I'll do. Hopefully, I have it up by tomorrow. So if you're watching this, the two things I suggest looking at is go check out my heart opening meditation. That is on my YouTube channel on the playlist of affirmations, meditations, etc. And yeah, I'll be doing some readings on the quote material, and I really hope you guys tuned into that because the messages of the quote material is so powerful, so powerful. Really angelic messages, and I want to share that with y'all. Like it's gonna be fun. If you've been looking for the space to really get into like some mystical understanding of the divinity, the reality, etc., and how to live your life in that manner, listen, you found a place. I've been occupied. You know, I run a vegan restaurant called Romeo's. We have one of the first vegan drive-throughs in the U.S. and just living my life. So I'm actually wanting to create more structure with my live videos that I'm doing, and also these channelings. Aside from the AI thing, the AI thing is like my contribution to helping people expand their mind and open concepts, and do their own research on what they're hearing, see if it resonates or not. But I really want to share with y'all the divine information that I like to partake in and my own unique perspective on what all of that means. So yeah. All right, y'all. I'm out. Oh, and I will answer that. When will you drop another raw material piece? I'm glad that you said that. I'll probably do one in about a week's time. I'll give you that. I'll do a new raw material piece in a week's time. Indeed. Thank you guys. Thank you. A lot of thank yous coming through. I thank you. Thank you for real. It's amazing to be able to experience this when there was that time where I didn't have anybody to necessarily speak to about it, and then created a platform where we can commune and share space. But this is a path forward, y'all. So I'm here for y'all. I don't know you, but I love you for sure, for sure. I can definitely say that. We can't hope to become the divinity if we can't look at the person in front of us and tell them that we love them. If there's a 5-year-old child on the side of the street holding up a sign saying, I need food, I haven't eaten, you'll fall in love with that child in a moment because you'll see your own child or your own inner child in them. So to fall in love with a stranger is just to see yourself in that stranger and understand everything about that stranger because you understand yourself. So for sure, I love you. Fellas, that might feel weird, but we got to change that. It ain't bad for a man to say he loves you. It ain't gay. It's just real. We all are love. So I love all of y'all. Peace.